Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So after a long time of not wanting to record, today I thought I will record. And I wanted to do my Sims 2 video or my Sims 2 series. And I am so frustrated today for like a number of reasons. I'm just going to talk to you about the first few reasons. Also, my videos are usually very chatty. If you're not interested in a chatty video, you don't have to watch it. But yes, I will be chatting a lot. It's a chatty video. So basically, today I was just very frustrated because I don't want to give the details because, yeah, this is public. But basically, I was trying to do something and I was unable to do it, and now I have to cancel some things and change things around, and it's just very frustrating because I thought I had got it organized. Secondly, I'm trying to get my passport renewed, and it is very hard. There's no appointments, so now I have to wait and keep checking for appointments. That's also frustrating. But then I think, okay, I'm gonna go on The Sims 2. I'm gonna go and record my Sims 2 video, and it'll just like make my day so great, and it'll be so fun. I try to go into my Sims 2. You can see down here, I have the super collection that I literally purchased. Yes, I purchased it on the App Store on my Mac computer. Whenever I try to open it, I need to somehow, for some reason, put in my Apple ID because it was purchased for a different computer. What? I've never used it on any other computer. I only have one computer, and I don't use the Sims 2 Super Collection on my mom's computer or my dad's computer or our desktop computer, because our desktop computer has disk drives unlike my Mac computer, my Mac laptop. So I can actually use my discs that I've purchased for all of these expansion packs that I have really purchased, all of them. So I can use that on my desktop computer, so I have no reason for this super collection, which has less stuff than I actually have purchased. But anyways, for some reason I have to put my Apple ID in because, yeah, as I said, it was purchased on a different computer. I put my Apple ID in, okay? My Apple ID is really messed up for some reason. Like, I don't know. I think you have like different Apple IDs. It's just very confusing. No one can help me with it whenever I go into the Apple store. So I put in what I think is my Apple ID from my computer, which is different than the one from my phone for some reason. I don't know why. And it says I've been logged out of my Apple account. What? I just put in one password. It's my password. But it wasn't even like wrong password. It's like you're locked out. I'm like, what? And then it's like you need to do two-factor authentication. Okay. If I don't want my stuff to be secure, let me have my stuff not be secure. I don't need someone telling me my stuff needs to be secure. I literally have to do two-factor authentication for everything. Aside from, I don't have to do two-factor authentication for? My bank account. The one thing that I might actually want two-factor authentication for would be my bank account. But there's no option for that. But there is an option for, but someone can steal my money, and that's fine. I literally don't understand it. Like, I have two-factor authentications for the most random things that I'm like, I really don't care about this thing. You can access my file. I don't have anything on my computer, so I really don't care if my Apple ID gets compromised, to be honest. I mean, I care, but I don't care that much. So anyways, I can't get access to my Sims 2 collection anymore for now, and I don't feel like trying to figure it out right now. And also, I don't know what's going on with my Apple ID. That's concerning. Weird. I hope it's some sort of like scam. Well, I hope not actually, because I put my password in. So I don't really know. But like, I've logged into my Apple ID before, and it literally says, do you want to do two-factor authentication? I just press skip. There's a skip option. So I've been skipping it because I don't want to do that. Because also, when I tried to do my two-factor authentication, it asked me for security questions that I wrote down when I was in grade 7, and I created my Apple ID, and I don't remember if I put my dad's age in numbers or I wrote it out in letters. And I don't remember if when it said, what was your parents' first car, I put the make or the model or both the make and the model, because they always make these questions like that, you know what I mean? So you remember what it is, but you're like, did I put like the full answer? Did I put part of the answer? it's a flawed system. So, to come to the point that I am now is I wanted to just make a video. So I'm just doing a video that's I don't really care that much about because I wanted to film, and it looks like I'm not going to be filming The Sims. So what I'm filming right now is an American Horror Story. Pardon me. Oh, sorry, I have hiccups. I'm creating an American Horror Story tier list based on the seasons. I wanted to do a character one, and I might also do a character one afterwards in the same video. You can see my entire screen, so yeah, because when I started recording this, I was expecting to be in the game, so I didn't cut my screen. Anyways, so we're going to start with the seasons. I might do some characters from some of the seasons I've seen lately. I haven't finished all the seasons, but I have watched at least a couple episodes from each season, and the ones I didn't finish, like, there's a reason, and so I'll be talking about that, and I think I can rank them kind of based on that. Start with the first one, American Horror Story, later called American Horror Story Murder House. This is my favorite one of all time. So I don't know why I like it so much. I find it's a good one because it's not too disturbing. And I know American Horror Story, it's supposed to be disturbing, right? I know that. But there's certain kinds of disturbing that I like, and or not I don't like them, but that I find entertaining, and certain kinds of disturbing that I can't watch and just grosses me out. So I do not like bodily horror. I do not want to see anything like gross, like that kind of stuff. I don't want to see anything gross. I don't want to see anything too gory. Like if someone gets murdered, obviously that's going to happen. I don't mind seeing someone get murdered in these shows. I don't want to see like someone being tortured like in a gross way. So that's kind of like me. So I also don't mind like extraterrestrial or like ghosts, or like that doesn't bother me at all for some reason. Like it's kind of weird, but ghosts and stuff don't bother me. So obviously, okay, obviously there's going to be some spoilers, so please, if you don't want spoilers, don't watch this. But obviously American Horror Story Murder House is like all about ghosts, so whatever. I like the twists and turns. I like how it's done because I did not guess who was the man in the rubber suit, the rubber man. I had an idea near the end, and I was like, are you kidding me? That is so odd, but it made sense. So, I mean, I say it's not gory, but also the concept art and the art is so good. So, like, this is the art for the American Horror Story Murder House, and this kind of foreshadows what's going to happen in the season. Obviously, there's a man in a rubber suit, and to reveal some things, basically, he rapes the mother of the family who's in the house. I think her name is Vivian. So basically, for some backstory, there is a couple who have a teenage daughter. It's a man, a woman, and a daughter who's a teenager. They move from, I think it's Boston, to California and buy this new house. And the reason they've moved is because the husband has had an affair on the wife with, I think, one of his patients, because he is a psychologist or a psychiatrist, something like that. So he had an affair, and the mom found out. So she wanted a fresh start. So she moved with them all to California, and they're trying to work on their marriage and stay together. So that's kind of the background. Also, I believe it's revealed later on that when he had the affair, it was actually right after she had a miscarriage. So it was even more hurtful. And then again, literary elements of foreshadowing, whatever. She does get pregnant, obviously. This is her. This is Vivian in this picture. So basically, they move into this house. There's all these weird and wacky people in the house, neighbors, an ex-maid who wants to stay on for them, stuff like that. This teenage boy who the daughter meets. They all meet in the house, which you'll find out later why that is. They all kind of like that's how they introduce them, is inside the house. Yeah, and the boy that the daughter meets is I forget the daughter's name, Violet. So the mom is Vivian. I forget the dad's name. I don't like the dad. He's not a nice guy. The daughter is Violet. So Violet meets this guy. He's like her age. They start to get along. They have like a romance or whatever. I mean, that's going on. He is seeing her dad as a psychologist, and he has some problems. Um, so then, meanwhile, at the same time, one night, this man in the rubber suit shows up and starts having sex with Vivian, and she somehow thinks it's her husband. Cricket, because it does not make any sense why he would be her husband, because when it's revealed of who the person is, like they're not the same height, they're not the same build. I just don't know how she would have thought it was her husband, but whatever. That's a bit of a plot hole. But anyway, so Van Herber suits starts having sex with her, and obviously she falls pregnant. Revealed later on it wasn't actually her husband, so it's like, who was this person? Who is the father of the baby? Major plot spoiler alert ahead. The man in the rubber suit is, this is your last chance to exit out of the video. Okay, it's Tate. So the guy who's dating their daughter had sex with her mom. And it's revealed later on the house made him do it. All the people they meet in the house are ghosts and they're trapped in the house, and the house holds power over them. So the house made him do it. Also, he did have some severe mommy issues, and there was another ghost in the house who he kind of saw as a motherly figure, and she really wanted a baby to be in the house, so he said he would basically get a baby in the house, and this is how he was going to do it, to kind of show her that he's worthy and stuff like that. Also revealed that he committed a school shooting. Anyways, so that's kind of what happens in this one. It's really, really, really good. I love all the characters, aside from the dad. The dad is horrible. I just don't like the actor. I don't like his character. I don't like him. I don't like the girl he had an affair with. She's not a very good actress. I just don't like her very much. I love the mom, the daughter. I love Tate. I love the maid. I love, ooh, who else is in the season? I'm forgetting her name right now. Jessica Lange, who's Tate's mom. Amazing characters, amazing level of scariness. Not too scary, but just good. Okay, after that, I might get these in the wrong order because I don't really know the order super well. You don't have to watch them in order, they're just standalone series. I think it's Asylum. So this is the one from Asylum. So you can see it's like a nun. Honestly, I would just tell you right now, I do not like religious horror. I do not like it. First of all, like me, I'm Catholic, and a lot of religious horror is based on the Catholic religion for some reason, and I don't support it. I don't think it's like right to be making all these horror shows which are basically exploiting things that are sacred to the Catholic tradition, and however, like other religions um, don't kind of have these mainstream horror movies that are based off of them. So I don't like it. I don't find like I don't find like nuns inherently scary. That's a weird thing to find scary. Like, so that it doesn't scare me, and I also just find it kind of silly. Like and they touch on exorcisms and stuff like that. Um, I personally don't really find that kind of stuff scary. Another thing this season touches on is institutional horror. So if you do not like institutional horror, what I mean by that is like the victims are stuck in an institution that institutionalizes the horror. Like it's like, as you understand probably the term institutionalized racism, meaning it's sanctioned and done through an institution. That's kind of like institutionalized horror is like they're in this place that like it is acceptable in this place to commit these horrific acts. I really don't like that. I personally get really stressed out in some situations like that, like when I feel like I don't have any control. That stresses me out a lot. So I don't like that at all. It just is disturbing to me. And yeah, it's set in an asylum. So basically, it's an asylum that's run by nuns, and the nuns are very abusive to their wards, I guess. And aside from that, that's kind of like, it's a bit disturbing, but it's not really like nothing like super horrific happens at the hands of the nuns, played by Jessica Lange and Lily Rabe. And but there is a doctor who, like, I don't even know why I would have a doctor there. I guess he's supposed to be like a psychologist or some, I don't know, whatever. There's a doctor named Dr. Arden who performs experiments on people. And spoiler alert, it is actually revealed. So this is actually takes place in the 60s. So it's actually revealed that Dr. Arden was a Nazi, and he was one of the people who performed um, medical. But I just wanted to say, I've already started talking about it, so I apologize. This is going to have some trigger warnings. I should have mentioned it earlier on. So I'm going to just apologize and mention some trigger warnings for what I have already talked about and what might come up again. So for American Horror Story, Murder House, there is trigger warning for rape, school shooting, and I think that's miscarriage. Um, for for Asylum, there is trigger warning for institutionalized punishment and stuff like that, and trigger warning for any things related to the church and stuff like that. Trigger warnings for anything relating to um, medical procedures, um, medical malpractice. Um, Also, as I said, it does touch on Nazis and the Holocaust, so trigger warning for that, major trigger warning for that as well. Okay, I think that covers it. And then I'll just go through each one when I talk about it. So, yeah, as I said, Dr. Arden was actually a Nazi like doctor who experimented on people in concentration camps, and people were saying he had a lot of similarities to the Angel of Death, which is Joseph Mengele, and people were saying that he's actually based off of him. And I can tell you right now, like, I've watched Holocaust movies, and I've never watched a movie based specifically on the medical torture and crimes that people had to endure. And when I tell you that when I watched this, I literally got so disturbed and so disgusted that it made me realize, like, wow. I mean, not wow, obviously, wow. I know the Holocaust was a horrendous, horrific time and experience for many, many people. But I just didn't realize, like, the extent to which these, like, extremely disturbing torture methods were like, I didn't realize the extent, or I realized the extent more when I watched them happening. It had more of an effect on me. Um, I couldn't finish this season partly because of the um, medical horror that Dr. Arden was doing to all the wards. That was very disturbing. I didn't like the portrayal of the Catholic Church, as I said before. What else did I not like about this season? It was very disturbing, and very like what do you call it? Like, atmospheric. So you really felt that atmosphere and the vibe of being in a insane asylum in the 60s and stuff like that. Um, there was something else I want to mention that was disturbing. Oh, I'm trying to remember now. There was like, yeah, so there was the medical stuff. There was the, oh yeah, so like um, Evan Peters' character is a guy who they lock up because they think he's this murderer, but he's actually not. The murderer is called Bloodyface, and it's actually revealed later on who was that murderer, and it's shocking, which is a great, really great twist. That, and the reason other people are in there is very disturbing as well. You have a woman, I don't know why she was in there, but you have also no, Sarah Paulson's character, who this I feel like must have been very difficult for her because she is a lesbian in like the actress. I love her. She's my favorite, one of my favorite actresses. But in the show, she portrays a woman who is a reporter, and then basically they don't like her reporting on the asylum, so they lock her up. I think under the guise of it being for her homosexuality, which at the time you could be locked up for your homosexuality. So again, trigger warning for um, like not persecution, but trigger warning for I guess persecution, discrimination, and basically criminalization of homosexuality. That's the major trigger warning as well for this season, and treatment of people who were deemed to be outcasts by society at the time. So I'm putting this in okay. Next one is Coven. I liked Coven a lot in the beginning. The ending was like meh for me. Okay, so what I liked about it, what I liked about Coven was that it was an basically all female main cast. I love the picture. Okay. I love the girl power vibe it had. It was all about witches. Okay. Trigger warning for this one about I don't know how to put this in a nice way. Basically being burned at the stake happens a lot in this season. Um, Also trigger warning for torture and abuse. Um, Also trigger warning for the treatment, the mistreatment, and torture and murder of slaves. This show touches upon an older, I don't know if she was a witch or this character who actually existed in real life. Her name's like Mary something, I don't know, something like that. But she basically like tortured her slaves. It was just disgusting. Like it was honestly disgusting. I couldn't watch any of those scenes. I don't know who even thought about putting that in here. No. So that was disturbing. I loved Sarah Paulson's character. Also, trigger warning for cancer that is mentioned in this, which I personally don't understand that being a focal point, because that is extremely upsetting for many people, including myself. So I could not really watch this season for that reason as well. Um, Other trigger warnings, I guess like I don't know if it was rape or sexual assault, but one of the two, like female on male, male victim and female perpetrators, um, and specifically like lack of agency. So the person who gets assaulted has lost their ability to consent. Um, and trigger warning also for um, sexual abuse from a mother to a son. So yeah, this one was okay as well. Disturbing again, couldn't really watch it. Then we had Freakshow. I liked Freakshow. Freakshow got a bit disturbing later on again. Another trigger warning for stuff relating to Nazis, because this was in the 50s. I believe Jessica Lange's character was tortured in some sort of Nazi like snuff film at one time. So that is a major trigger warning. I think there is one scene where there's like a sexual assault of a girl. Um, Aside from that, oh yeah, clowns. If you don't like clowns, you won't like this one, and I don't care about clowns. They don't scare me at all. This one didn't bother me with the clowns. I honestly just didn't think it was that great for other reasons. I'm just gonna put it in okay. Not much more to say about it because I didn't really watch that much of it. Um, Hotel, I just started and I was like extremely bored. I just don't like Hotel that much. Oops. I just don't like Hotel that much for some reason. Like I couldn't even get past like 2 episodes of it. It was just confusing and weird to me. Um, I haven't watched Red Tide. I just watched why is there double feature and Red Tide? Oh no. Yeah, Red Tide, and this is gonna be the other one after Red Tide. I forget what it's called. So Red Tide is the most recent one I'm watching. I really like this one. I think it's not too disturbing again. So if you liked Murder House and you don't want one that's too disturbing, Red Tide is great. It follows a family who moves into a neighborhood in Maine, and Oh, trigger warning for this one, I guess only thing would be is like drug abuse. That's literally it so far. There's nothing else that's been like a trigger warning, so that's really good if you're looking for one that doesn't have much triggering things in it. Um, Basically, it's about, I'm gonna like ruin it a little bit going forward. So if you want to watch this, I'm telling you the trigger warnings so that you don't get like scarred like me who didn't look up trigger warnings. The only trigger warning I can think of up to episode 4, so after episode 4, look it up again, is drug abuse. Because I think. And there's like one scene where like a man is like verbally abusive to his wife. It's not that bad though. It's not like really anything super disturbing or traumatizing in my opinion. But anyways, this season also has Evan Peters dress up like or be a being a drag queen. His character is straight, but he's a drag queen for money, which I think is pretty like cool that Ryan Murphy put that in because that is a realistic thing. Um, so yeah, this season's really good. It's about a family who moves into this area, and the dad is a writer, the mom is a interior designer, and the daughter is really into playing the violin. So they're a very creative family. And now there's going to be a trigger warning going forward. Or not trigger warning, spoiler alert going forward. So spoiler alert is that it's about vampires. That's it. It's not that disturbing. It's just about vampires, normal vampire murdering stuff. So it's not like extremely disturbing, you know what I mean? For me at least, like it's not like you're watching someone get tortured. Just regular murders. Okay. Highly recommend that one if you're like me. Another one, I have not watched this one. This is the second part of double feature, so we're gonna leave that out. Apocalypse, again, I watched the whole series. It's actually been great. It's not that disturbing again. Oh, what's trigger warning? Trigger warnings for like there is a bit of mentions of like radiation poisoning. If that might trigger you, yeah. So there is some mention of radiation poisoning because this is not going to be a big spoiler. This happens like literally halfway through episode 1. Is that it's about the apocalypse and there is like some radioactive stuff. So there's radioactive stuff. That's it. Trigger warning maybe for like there is like the devil. The devil is in this one, like the devil's son or whatever. So if you don't like that, I personally don't mind that. That's a bit far removed. Like it's far enough removed for me from Catholicism that it doesn't really bother me about it being used for horror because I do believe the devil is horrific. It's scary. I agree. Nuns are not scary though. So maybe that bothers you. Um, I think that's like all that happens. There is some like burning at the stake things that happen. Um, that's all I can remember. It's very good again if you don't want something that's super disturbing, but you want to watch something about the apocalypse and basically like fallout shelters. There's like some drama that happens with the fallout shelters and trying to reverse this apocalypse. It's pretty interesting. Um, Roanoke was not as good as I thought it was going to be. It was a really good like storyline that they could have. Is that teeth? Ew. They could have done stuff with, but I just didn't think it was done that well. This is more based on like found footage horror, so if you don't like that, this might bother you. It doesn't really bother me, but I don't particularly like it either. Um, I just didn't find it too interesting. There was some torture scenes in this, again, so if you don't like that, don't watch this. But you can fast forward the torture. Like this one, I could not even fast forward. There was too many torture scenes. No, and this one, I wish I fast forwarded them because I was traumatized. This one is like kind of traumatizing, but not as bad in my opinion. So yeah, trigger warning for this one for like torture. I guess I think that's it. Again, we don't know this one. So 1984, I just started watching it. It doesn't seem that good to me, but I think it's a slasher film, so I don't know. Take with that what you may. Then we have Cult. I really liked Cult. I'm gonna put it here. But Cult, out of the 4 that I really liked and suggest, Cult might be the most disturbing for you. So Cult, if you do not like political horror, this might not be for you. However, I don't think this is actually that political. People say they don't want to watch it because it's too political. the political stuff that's happening is the backdrop for the story. It's not about the political stuff that's happening. It's like that's happening in the background. The first episode's a bit over the top politics, but they make fun of both sides. So if you don't want something that's too, you know, what's it called? That's too much like propaganda. You're not going to get that with this one. Sarah Paulson's character, who is on the left, her character does silly things. I mean, yes, the main villain is on the right. It's Kai, but it, like it's not really like I don't really think it's because of his like political belief that he's evil. It's just showing you like one type of person that exists out there. Like Sarah Paulson on the left, she does some really silly things. Like for example, she is afraid of clowns, and in her mind, she thinks she's seeing clowns since Trump has been elected. And she literally says that she didn't see any clowns when Obama was elected, like in her mind. And she was not scared of clowns during that time, which literally makes no sense, but whatever. And she also has a fear of holes that for some reason only came back up when Trump was elected. Weird things. So that's kind of like making fun of that side. At the same time, they make fun of the right, which is Kai's on the right, and basically he's just crazy. You can see him trying to incite problems amongst people. He obviously rises. He starts his own cult, and he rises to be this like supreme cult leader that nobody can stop. And all the supporting characters, again, spoiler alert. This will spoil things. So before I do the spoiler alert, actually, I'm going to trigger warning. So if you haven't watched this and you want to watch it or figure out if it's safe for you, listen to this first. Trigger warning: clowns. Lots of clowns. If you hate clowns, don't watch this. Trigger warning again: torture. One episode called Holes. You can skip that episode. It's not really referred to again in the entire season. I watched the entire season, and I was traumatized by this season before, so I would always go like this across to Netflix just to quickly see if there's anything that was going to scare me in the episode. And I saw something that looked disturbing in Holes. Do not watch the episode Holes. Just don't watch the episode. It's fine. It's fine. Just don't watch it. And I'll summarize it for you if you want. Basically, Kai's cult is trying to incite violence because he wants to prove that there needs to be more control in like the neighborhood. Eventually, like he runs for president, but he wants things to be crazy so he can say, hey, you need me. So he is like him and his cult are murdering people so he can be like, see, this is because I wasn't the president that this has happened. So there's that. And so they murder some guy who like wrongs Kai in some way. But it's a very brutal, torturing murder scene because he wants to make a video to post it on YouTube or something. So that's all you need to know. It's never referenced again. It's not that important. Another scene is, you'll see it coming, is when Kai and his sister, I forget her name, but it's played by Billy Lord. Kai and his sister, played by Billy Lord, are going to visit this haunted house. Okay, there is an episode later on in the season where it kind of explains why Kai got so messed up, or part of the reason why Kai and I think his sister got messed up is because they used to go on the dark web like for fun, and they were like trolling it for some. Who trolls the dark web? I don't know. They're trolling the dark web, and they talked to this guy who was like the pastor. That was his name or something. Again, they keep bringing in these religious themes. I don't like them. So again, there is just a bit of a trigger warning. There is some religious based horror again, where this, I think he's a pastor. Basically, he invites them to this house, and they go just for like shits and giggles. And they show up, and basically, he's like holding people hostage in his house and torturing them. And it's people who he thinks have like done like committed sins. So again, that kind of like horror that's based off of Catholicism, or like a skewed or basically prejudiced view of Catholicism, is in that episode. So if you don't like that, yeah, it's again only really referenced in that episode, and you'll see it coming. So unlike the Holes where you skip the whole episode, You don't have to skip this whole episode. You'll just see it once you see Kai and his sister like chit-chatting about how they're on the dark web and then talking to someone in the pastor, then you can skip forward. Because then it's like they walk to his house. Like, it takes a long time to actually see the bads. Like, they introduce themselves to him. It's not like bam. So you'll know, okay? Now, if you haven't seen this, stop watching now. I'm going to talk about what happens. So there's a spoiler alert coming up. So basically, I don't even remember what this book. Oh yeah. So every single person in this show joins a cult, by the way. Every single person. Yes, people on the left as well. So, as you can see, it's not really that religious. It's more about how they're talking about how someone can become a cult leader. Like, he has people who are like basically Sarah Paulson's character and her wife in the show. I forget her wife's name. But like, her wife is literally like such a Hillary supporter. Like, her wife is mad that she voted like green or something. So they're very like left. And they join the cult and they get wrapped up in it. One of them. So it's just showing you that this is not a political thing on one side or the other. So that is disturbing. It is disturbing how he gets these people to do whatever he wants for them. But it is disturbing in a very interesting way. You see how he slowly rises to the top, and people eventually want to get out of the cult, and they can't get out of the cult. And his cult eventually becomes something very disturbing, where another trigger warning, I should have said this earlier, is I think they at one point plan to go murder all pregnant women and cut out their babies. So that would be a trigger warning. They don't show them doing it or anything like that, but I forget what the message is for that. Or there's always some message he has for his murders. So that's crazy. And also trigger warning for like a bit of incest, because it doesn't happen, but Kai wants, it's really weird. Like, Kai wants his sister to have sex with his friend while he's having sex with his friend, who's a guy. Like, there's two guys and a girl. So like, his sister will be, this is like really sexual, but his sister will be like having sex with a man, and Kai will be also having sex with the man. If you can figure that out in your head, because then it's like Kai is like blessing this child with himself. Like, so it's not as incestual as it could be, but it's pretty incestual. So anyways, cult, great season. So yeah, ooh, sorry about that. So that is the end of my ranking for the American Horror Story seasons. I might also rank the characters later on, but that will probably be a separate video. So I just want to thank everybody so much for taking the time to watch this video. And I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I figure out my Sims situation so I can get back to that ASAP as well. And I will talk to you all next time. Bye everyone.